All right, so first we're going to, I guess, open Maya and then open our robot model. And we have to pose the robot in the Jesus Christ pose because of that's how everything is set up. So in order to select the entire arm, we're going to just use the selection tool on the left, and
You want to zoom in?
I think like that.
Oh, well, yeah.
So here's the selection tool, this arrow, and we're going to use if you are familiar with Photoshop, we're going to use a marquee select, which basically you click and drag, you make a rectangle, and just that way you can grab the entire arm. I don't know if can you guys see that? And okay, so now I have selected the entire arm, and I need to group it. And right here, we can go to Edit, Group, or Command G. And if I'm going to press the W key for Move, and you can see that the center. Let me see if I can zoom in. You can see that the center of the arm is right at the origin, at 0, 0. So now we need to move that origin or that hinge point where the shoulder pivots, right? So in order to do that, we're going to press the Home key on the keyboard on the Mac or the Insert key on the PC. So press down. And you can see that the icon has a rectangle on it. The minute I press the Home key, it switches over to this little target icon. And I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to move its pivot point to about the shoulder. So I'm going to grab on the y-axis and pull it up straight up. It's easier to grab in either the Y, X, and Z axis. Otherwise, you have no idea where you're moving stuff in space, in 3D space. So now I'm going to move on the X axis. Now, if you click on the F key, it will frame that area. So if you want to revolve around it, if you want to see where you are, you can do it like that. Now I'm going to move the Z-axis a little bit, like where I want this shoulder to pivot, and that's about right. That's about the place. Now I need to confirm that that's where I want it, because I'm still in the and I'm still moving the center pivot. So if I want to finalize it, you're going to press the Home key again. And now it's finalized. That's going to be its center. So now I want to rotate the arm in that Jesus pose. So I'm going to, number 3, I'm going to rotate the Z-axis at 87 degrees, or 87, I don't know if that's a degrees or just a number. So I'm going to go to Rotate Z right here in my channel box. And I'm going to type in 87 and hit enter or return. And now my arm is extended like Jesus. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to draw a rectangle, like a marquee select, like you do in Photoshop. Select the arm, forearm, and wrist, right? And again, if you remember, the command for group is Command G, and now you see that the origin has gone down back to 0, 0. Then you're going to press the Home key to activate. Move the origin in the y-axis, in the x-axis, and let's see. Just put it in like what you think should be its pivot point. And I'm going to hit the Home key to confirm. And this time I have to do a negative 87, right? So I'm going to select rotate Z, type in negative 87 and hit return or enter. And there we go. We have Jesus. I found Jesus. Okay, so now let's see. We're going to add the skeleton. So we're going to move to our rigging. Right now we're in modeling. And let me zoom in there on our, I forgot what they call this. This is modeling right here. Your, I put it on the instructions. It's called the menu set. I think it's the menu set. We're going to switch, yeah. We're going to switch the menu set from modeling to rigging. And that's going to give us on top, on the pull down or drop down menu, is going to give us more information, especially the skeleton part right here. So we can create each bone, or we can have the computer create the entire skeleton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the computer create the entire skeleton. So I'm going to go all the way down to human IK, which stands for inverse kinematics. It's going to give us a skeleton. So I'm going to click on it. I should zoom out. And I didn't see anything. Oh, there it is. So then we get, we have this dialog box right here on where the channel box used to be. And it says create skeleton. Right, this button right here, we're going to create a skeleton. We can click on it. And now if we go to wireframe, you can see the skeleton is right there now. You guys see that? And it looked like it came out perfect, so we don't need to adjust it. Now if you're in shaded mode, and if you want the skeleton to be on top of your geometry, on top of the human, there is a, let me see if it shows here. There it is, this tiny little button. I'm going to zoom into this tiny little button. Right in the viewing window, you see we have all these tiny little icons right here. And if you see this, it looks like it's supposed to be a bone or right there. It's called the XRay Joints. If you click on this button, your skeleton is going to be visible on top of the geometry. So I'm going to click on it. There. And now look, too bad my skeleton's green, and my guy is green too. But
I want to change him really quick.
Let's see if I can change him. I can change the guy. Let's make him a different color, maybe a little warm color. There we go. And if I select now you see the skeleton. It is visible. It's not on the outside, it's just, you can see right through it. That's just a little x-ray in case, it's kind of hard to see your skeleton. But here's on the instructions right here. Tiny little button. Okay. We don't need to, on this other one, mine was displaying a very skinny skeleton. If you need to adjust the scale, it looks like it's fine. But if you needed to adjust the scale, you would go to Display, Animation, Joint Size. Right here, you can make the joints bigger. I don't know if can you see that? Let's see, I'll zoom in a little bit. But when I slide this, it can be very skinny or very big. 3 is a good number. We'll leave it at 3. Okay. Okay, so now this is a little explanation of what is a joint and what's a bone on the handout. And what we're going to be moving, we're not going to be moving the bones, we're going to be moving the joints. We're going to be aligning them. We're going to align the skeleton to our robot. So here we see a before and after. So we're going to go to the side view and move our hip joint to match our robot hip. So I'm going to go to a side view. Can press the space bar to show that screen. Or you can also press the F key to, oh, that didn't work. You do a full frame.
I want to change that to
Yeah, you see the tiny little grid? This tiny little grid? We have to go to Window, Settings, Preferences, and change our units from metric to feet. Now, each one of these boxes is a foot, so we can see that guy's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 feet tall. A little more, a little taller than that. Okay. Again, I don't see my skeleton here. You can press on the X-ray. Let me see. Make my channel box smaller. Holy cow! Oh yeah, I can. If you want to hit on the tab, it'll hide by clicking on the tab. It hides the tools. And here's the little X-ray joints button, and I click it. Now I can see right through it. Right. I also like to go into wireframe. When I'm doing this, I can see the center a little better. Okay, so I'm going to grab the hip. I'm going to grab the hip. Now, if you want to grab one joint at a time, you just click. I think it's probably better because otherwise we're going to be selecting our geometry otherwise. I was going to do a multi-select, but I better not. It's a little tricky. So what I'm going to do is just with my with my W command, I'm going to move the hip and put it right in the center of the robot hip. I grab the second leg and put it out there, right? Now I'm going to move down to the knee. And because I want the knee to bend forward, not backward, I don't want to break the leg, the robot's leg. Normally I might put it in the center, but because now you notice that the leg is bending backwards. I'm exaggerating, but see that? We don't want the knee bending backwards, we want it bending forward. So I'm going to put it just a little bit like halfway between these 2 points right here, between the center and the outside. I'm going to put it right there, just so that the knee doesn't bend backwards. Otherwise he's going to have some poor posture. Okay, so now I'm going to move the other one. And I'm going to move down to the ankle. Click on the ankle joint. This one I can put right there in the center of the robot ankle and do the other foot right there. I'm going to move the ball of the foot and move the other ball of the foot. But you notice that this skeleton does not come with a toe. We need a toe in order to bend the foot. So we already did that. You let me know when we need to stop the video. Okay. All right. So now let's see. Oh, okay. So before we add the toe, let's straighten out the leg in the front view. Now remember, do not bend the knee out of, it has to be perfectly vertical. Otherwise your skeleton will start to twist. So I'm going to go to the 4 view again, spacebar the front view, and I'm going to go into wireframe again, 4 for wireframe. And here I have the one side of, I grabbed the hip, right? That's all we want to move, just the hip, because I don't want to move the knees or the ankles, otherwise the joints will twist. So I'm just going to get it just enough so that it's maybe touches the toe. It's okay if the skeleton is sticking out of your geometry. That doesn't matter. So I'm lining it up straight down to the toe. It's pretty much, actually I don't really need to adjust it. It's pretty much in the right place. Okay. Now, I guess now I'm going to insert the toe. So I'm going to go back to the side view. And I'm going to insert the toe. Now, both feet are right in front of each other, right? So if I add the joint, I have no idea which foot is going to hit first. So I'm just going to go for it. And I'm going to insert a joint. So, oh, I guess I should move the thing up, it says here. Before I should move this joint out of the way. So I can just click on the first joint. Doesn't matter which one. I have no idea if I got the left or the right. And I'm going to go into my channel box and change the rotation to -45. The rotation in X. So I'm going to click on rotation in X and make it -45. And all I'm doing is just to get the toe out of the way so I can add another toe. Okay? Here's the one that I wanted to add the toe to. Okay. So now I'm in number 14, insert a toe joint. Okay. So I'm going to go into skeleton, insert joints. And in order to do this, you're going to click in the center of the ball joint and do not let go. You have to click and drag. Click and drag it to the toe area, and now we have a toe. Now I think I need to press enter, I think, or return to confirm the toe. Okay. Now if I go into the perspective view, you will see that it actually grabbed the right toe, and it's perfect. It grabbed it right in the right place. But when I drew the toe, it moved the toe to its center origin. So he's got a twisted toe. So we need to move the tip of the toe to its center of its foot. In order to do that, I'm going to select the translate in X in the X channel box. Translate in X and type in 0 and hit return. And look, now my toe is perfectly aligned with the foot. Right? And while I'm here, I might as well change the name of this. Right now, it's just called joint 1. Since I have it here in my channel box, I'm going to change the name of joint 1 to character. And the reason I'm calling it character is because the rest of the skeleton has the same naming convention. Character 1, I think, is character 1. Underscore, and I'm going to call it, that's the right foot, so that'd be the right toe. Right? And hit return. There you go. Okay. Now, I don't know if you want to see it, but everything here is named. See that character 1, character 1. Let me zoom in there. But see, the computer created this, the hips, the left leg, the right leg. If I keep, there is my toe that I just created. Here's character 1, right toe base, and I have the right toe because there's a foot. Okay. And let me zoom out.
So let's stop there and test it.
Okay. How do I stop it? Right? Just right here.